The province of Ontario is currently expanding the GO system from basically just a commuter shuttle to downtown Toronto to a frequent regional rail system across southern Ontario. As part of this program, they're building a lot of new station platforms. For the most part, these are big improvements over previous platforms, including full-length canopies and enclosed waiting areas. But one notable limitation of these new platforms is that they're not at the same level as the floor of the train, so most passengers need to go up 2 steps to get onto the train. GO Transit trains actually do have level boarding, but only at one door of the train. This lines up with a raised portion of the platform, and the gap between the train and the platform is filled by a plank that is manually laid down by the customer service ambassador at each station. Although it technically makes the GO train system wheelchair accessible, this way of implementing level boarding has a number of downsides. First of all, it's really slow. At each station, the customer service ambassador needs to physically put down and pick up a metal plank. At the same time, they need to be opening and closing the doors. Passengers getting on at the other doors still have 2 steps to go up and down, which takes longer than if the platform were at the same level as the floor of the train. Metrolinx, the parent company of GO Transit, has estimated that providing level boarding at all doors could save 30 seconds off of each station stop. On top of being slow, the current level boarding system is very inconvenient. People who want or need to board without going up steps need to make their way to that one particular door. Except people with bikes, because bikes aren't even allowed on that coach. You always have to carry your bike up or down 2 steps, even on the coaches that are specifically dedicated to bikes. But most annoyingly, it locks trains into particular positions on the platform. GO train platforms are 12 cars long, and they have a raised section lining up with the 5th car back from the locomotive. That's the accessibility car, which has the one door with level boarding. But outside of rush hour, most GO trains are only about 6 cars long, which means that they only use the half of the platform on the end where the locomotive is. And that's not necessarily the half of the platform where the station's entrances are. At Rutherford Station, all the entrances and exits are at the north end of the station. But since the locomotive is at the south end of the train, 6-car trains stop all the way at the south end of the station. And at Kitchener's new Central Station, 6-car trains will need to stop all the way at the east end of the platform, even though the Ion Light Rail line is located at the west end of the platform, making for rather inconvenient transfers outside of rush hour. GO Transit is well aware of the limitations of its current level boarding system, so they have decided to start moving towards full level boarding at all doors. The new standard for platform heights for GO Transit will be 610 millimeters, or 24 inches, above the top of the rail. This lines up with the floor level of the lower level of their current bi-level trains. It also happens to be the same floor height as some low-floor trains used in the southern United States. For the past several years, GO Transit has been future-proofing new platforms so that they can easily be raised to 610 millimeters. You can see these effects if you look at any new platform. These concrete bases for the structures on the platform at the new Rutherford Station are weirdly tall. That's so they still stick up above the platform level after the platform is raised for level boarding. And it looks like the doors to the platforms at Bloomington Station are higher than the platform itself, necessitating ramps and stairs. But they are at the same level as the floor of the train, so once the platforms are raised, the whole area will be level. You can see the same thing at Downsview Park Station as well. There's an awfully large space between the tracks at Rutherford Station. That's to leave room for a third center track, which doesn't pass directly by any of the platforms. That will allow wide freight trains to pass through the station, safely away from the platform edges. It will also be useful for express trains. But that doesn't really answer our original question. If GO has already decided to use 610 millimeter platforms, Why do they keep building platforms that are only 127 millimeters tall? The answer is that unfortunately the current GO Transit fleet is not able to have level boarding at all doors. Each door has a permanently affixed step down. So if the platform were at the same level as the floor, you'd end up with a step down and then a step back up. And obviously that would be a major tripping hazard. So in order to raise any platform on a GO Transit line, all of the trains on that line need to be retrofitted to support both level boarding platforms and the current low platforms. There are a number of ways this could be done. The lower step, which is currently fixed, could be made to raise or lower depending on the height of the platform. Or you could leave the lower step fixed in place and install a gap filler system from the upper step across the top of it. This would look similar to the gap filler systems used in the Netherlands. Whichever option GO Transit chooses, the sooner they start retrofitting trains to support level boarding, the sooner they can start building platforms at level boarding height. And that means there will be fewer platforms to go back and retrofit later, saving us money in the long run.